don't forget that there is someone up above. Be a simple. Hello, hello. Just waiting on everybody to join. How is everyone doing today? Turn down the music. Listening to this song called Simple Man, and it just kind of reminded me about how it's okay to go simple, right? What a perfect song for this crazy, crazy time that we are currently in. And we've got about a minute before we get started, so I'll wait to see if anybody comes on with me, but we will start right at 5 o'clock. For those of you that are watching this in record, I have this is about a 15-minute video today, so not as long as yesterday's. If you haven't had a chance to watch yesterday's, please go back and take a look at that. It is recorded. The link is posted in the group, and I will make sure today that I organize the units so you can follow along. Hello, hello. Pending, one person is waiting. How do I let them in? Hi, Susan. You automatically come in as a muted person, but if you want to turn on your video, if you feel comfortable, you're more than welcome to. If not, you can use the chat to talk to me. It is exactly 5 o'clock, so we are recording. I'm going to start in just a minute. Thanks so much for coming. I sent out a link to everybody, so hopefully people will be popping on. If not, this will be recorded, uploaded in YouTube, and then can be watched later. So let's flip over and share screen. I think I can see everybody popping in when I share my screen. Hope you're having a wonderful, wonderful Tuesday. I have been working. Very crazy, very stressful. So I'm trying to practice what I teach right now with how crazy things have been. So let's go ahead and flip over. I'm going to share my screen. We'll get started. And then, like I said, this is going to be about a 15-minute presentation. And then afterwards, I can stop recording and we can open up the thing to ask questions if you want. Okay, so today is about gut health, right? Nutrition, why the gut works so well and protects us during, like how it helps in our immune sequence and why it helps, and then also essential oils to help with different problems. So how can I improve my gut health? How can you improve your gut health? That's really what this is about in the certain section that we're going to get started with, and we'll transition into essential oils that can also help. Sorry, looking for some lotion. I haven't washed my hands nonstop, and my hands feel like the desert. Anyway, we're going to focus more on proper nutrition and digestion. Food sensitivities, that is a part of improving your gut health as well, and we will touch base with that. Food sensitivities takes a little bit more time and sometimes even testing, so we're not going to dig too deep into that, but we will talk about nutrition and digestion specifically during this presentation. So our food has changed. We don't really eat as nature intended or as our bodies were created to eat, and we're paying the price. Our society is busier than ever. We're running our kids around, and we are personally running around. Now, obviously, ironically, in the last 2 weeks, people have slowed down tremendously, but overall, as a society. We are very, very busy. We're on the go. We like quick foods. We like foods that are already made for us. We're not harvesting our own foods. We're not growing our own foods. We're not butchering or hunting our own foods. And so we're reliant on commercialism to provide us the food that we do eat. And that really is impacting the nutrition of our current diet, because it's just not all the processed ingredients that are in it. Our bodies just aren't meant to utilize that. And then secondary, not only are we dealing with processed foods, but we're also dealing with the GMOs. If you're not familiar with what a GMO is, it's a genetically modified organism created to allow foods to grow in environments that they weren't originally intended to grow in. So for example, a wheat, a company that needs wheat year round cannot wait for the harvest cycle to occur on the natural, typical rainfall growth cycle that occurs. And so a GMO, and this is really just dumbing it down, but the GMO product says that the seed, the wheat seed, is going to grow year round, and it's going to need less water, for example, or it will be okay to survive in a more heat environment, or a more wind or drought environment. And so in a nutshell, that's what a GMO is. This was all introduced into our society in the late 1990s. You can kind of get away from that by, going towards all the heirloom seeds. That's really what that whole thing was about, was creating, buying seeds that still were dependent on the environment and had its natural strain in it. Anyway, this isn't a political conversation. This is a nutrition. But second thing to keep in mind is that scientists have deemed our gut to be the second brain. So if we focus on healing our gut, we can actually not only help support our body and our overall function with our immune system, but we can also support our brains. That's pretty cool. A little topic on food sensitivities. It is important to focus on this in regards to inflammation. A lot of times we don't even know that we have a sensitivity to a problem, because it can actually take up to 72 hours before you have symptoms. And so we're not correlating the two together, right? If I eat something and I immediately get a belly ache, I kind of know that I'm having a problem. But if it takes up to 3 days, a lot of times you just don't know that, being tired all the time or having tension or other health issues could actually be related to the food that you're eating. There are some recommendations. You can do a 30-day food sensitivity elimination diet to see what food might be causing your issue. Maybe you eliminate dairy, or you eliminate gluten. There's a lot of techniques to do this. But the other way that you can do it is actually get an IgG food sensitivity test by your functional medicine doctor or your nurse practitioner that specializes in nutrition. If you go to just an urgent care NP, I'm going to be honest with you, they're not going to know the testing. So you need to make sure that they specialize in nutrition if this is what you're looking at, to decide if this is where some of your health issues lie. So just a couple thought processes, but we're not going to dig deep into this. This is its own topic in itself. Let's talk about nutrition, though, kind of as a general term. We are going to talk about decreasing your sugar intake. We're going to talk about, sorry, let me admit some people are coming in. Decreasing your sugar intake. Hey, Sheree, thanks for joining. We're going to talk about increasing your water intake, and also how supplements play a role in nutrition. Sheree, your video is off, and so is your microphone. If you want to show your video or unmute yourself to talk, you're more than welcome to, or you can just stay behind the scenes. And once I turn off the recording, we can then open up to everybody can show the face and say hi. So in terms of excess sugar, interesting fact, sugar actually depresses your immune system. So in this current situation, this might be something that you lay low on a little bit, especially if you plan on going to the supermarket. 100 grams is all you need to actually decrease the ability of your white blood cell count to function properly. It can actually decrease the ability for your white blood cell count to kill germs by 40%. And all you need is about 2 12-ounce cans of soda for this to happen. The immunity suppressing effects actually start about 30 minutes after ingestion and can last up to 5 hours. But in comparison to this, the complex carbohydrates and starches have no effects on the immune system. It's just your processed refined sugars. The second thing to please remember when trying to keep your immune system functioning at its optimal is water. Water is our life. Like, we unfortunately, due to today's commercialism, depend on all these drinks that are mixed with so many other things based on convenience, based on our brain loving the taste of them. But water is really a way for us to do so many things for our health. If you don't know how much water you need to drink, weigh yourself, divide that by half, and that's how many ounces a day you need to drink. So most people are dehydrated. Most people don't drink this much water at all. The benefits of water are actually pretty profound. You can eliminate headaches, improve your mood, relieve fatigue, boost your energy level. Guys, just 1 glass of 4 to 6 ounces of water in the morning with 1 drop of lemon essential oil can give you as much energy as a cup of coffee. So if you're a coffee fanatic like I am, keep that in mind, that you can actually, try that tomorrow morning and see how you feel. Drinking enough water relieves constipation. It can help flush out toxins, specifically if we do use essential oils in there, like our lemons or our grapefruits. It can help promote weight loss, prevent kidney stones, and boost your immune system, right? That's why we're talking about it today, and that's why it's included in this. So really an important aspect of our health is water. The third thing I want to talk about with nutrition, in terms of like how, sugar, water, and supplements. This is really, really a key point that most people miss. It's easy to say, okay, I'm going to eliminate my sugar. It's easy to say I'm going to increase my water intake. But the third thing that's super important is the actual nutrition and value of nutrition that we do consume. We've already talked about the all of our processed foods, our depletion in terms of like GMO and how that's affecting our gut health. But we don't have the same amount of vitamins and minerals in our fruits and vegetables that we did 50 years ago, 100 years ago, 150 years ago. And the key term that I want you to remember in this is soil depletion. When due to all the commercialism and the over harvesting of different areas, the soil just does not have all of the key minerals and nutrients that we need in order to stay healthy and have all of our enzymes work correctly for our body. So I was watching something the other day that told me that the nutrition of our vegetables and fruits are so depleted that today you would need to consume 6 oranges to equate to 1 orange 50 years ago. Like 6 oranges. That's crazy to think about, the fact that we actually I can't do that. My gut would not allow that at all. But it's just, it's sad that even when we're trying to do our best, that the food right now just cannot give us what we need. And so what's super important is a mineral and nutritional supplement. So, and speaking of that, there's a lot of options over the counter. Your Centrums and different multivitamins and Women's Day and things like that. But the challenge with those supplements are that they're synthetic. And so they're really just a bunch of rocks in essence that our body can't do anything with. And so if you've ever taken a vitamin and the first time you go to the bathroom to pee, it's just neon yellow, that's because your body just peed out everything that you consumed, and it's not processing it correctly. So what is super important in this, what I need you to remember in this, is that we need a whole food source mineral, vitamin and mineral that is bioavailable. And that's where the Lifelong Vitality, the doTERRA Lifelong Vitality comes into place. For those of you that are new to doTERRA or haven't even gotten started with doTERRA, I know that you think that doTERRA is an essential oil company, but it's actually a wellness company, looking at improving health in all different aspects of our life, not just putting an oil on a problem. And so the key foundation to the lifestyle pyramid that doTERRA encourages is eating right. And within that eating right model, supplementation really plays a key part in that. Now, obviously, supplementation is a personal choice. You have to know what you're eating. Are you eating enough? Are you eating the right nutrients? If there's any question whatsoever, eating a supplement or taking a supplement while trying to improve your health is so much better than doing nothing. So what I would recommend is the Lifelong Vitality Pack. I take this every single day. You get the whole foods, whole food and mineral, bioavailable vitamins and minerals, but you also get 2 additional complex supplements in here. You get an essential fatty acid that helps decrease inflammation, gets your brain functioning correctly, all your joints, all the lubrication in our joints that we need. And it's the right fatty acids instead of the omega-6s that cause inflammation. These are actually omega-3s, but you're also getting certified pure therapeutic grade essential oils mixed in this. Things like clove and frankincense, thyme, things that are just going to get your cells working properly. And then last but not least, the trio includes an alpha CRS, which is high antioxidants that can improve liver function, pancreatic function, brain function, gut function. There's just so many things that this alpha CRS provides for us. Plus there's an energy component in it, non-caffeinated energy component. So when you start taking it, you actually don't want to take it at bedtime because you won't go to sleep. So another thing that I want you to remember, and this is something that not everyone really focuses on, is the 4R program when it comes to your gut health. The first thing that we need to do is remove the bad, okay? So you want to remove inflammatory foods. Think about that food sensitivity elimination diet that will help remove things that cause you issues. Everyone is different, and you might not have any actual sensitivities, or maybe you just have sensitivities to certain processed ingredients and not necessarily a food item. So that's something to keep in mind. Another thing to keep in mind is that when we have so much processed sugar in our body, we can actually be overwhelmed with yeast, Candida. And so, really going through the steps of a cleanse can also help in terms of eliminating inflammatory process in your body. The second R is replace. So we want to replace with good, all right? Like digestive enzymes. And we're going to talk about that in just a minute on how that can actually help. You can even replace the hydrochloric acid. There's supplements if you, for some reason, feel like you're not getting enough of that. With that being in mind, please keep in mind a lot of people are on acid reduction medications. And the challenge with taking those type of medications all the time is that we actually do decrease the acid production in our gut. And that means we're not going to digest our food as well. And it can create worse problems long term. And so I would heavily encourage you. Unfortunately, the medical community overprescribes that. For anyone that comes in with acid reduction, we just start throwing people on a medication for 30 days, 60 days, 90 days without really saying, oh, you've got a peptic ulcer that needs decreased acid to help heal that. And then once that heals, you can go back to taking, or having a regular acid production. I would heavily encourage you to do your own research if you are on an acid reduction medication, and really think about if you truly need it daily, or if it's something that you need to look at more of increasing digestive enzymes as well, instead of using an acid reduction medicine. So if you have any questions specifically about that, I can kind of help you understand that more. The third thing you need to do is re-inoculate the good bacteria, meaning a probiotic. We have to have good gut flora in order for our nutrition to work optimally, and also to prevent the overrun of yeast that can be predominant. So a good probiotic is a must for good gut health. Specifically, and you actually need to increase that probiotic during times of stress, during times of, maybe you do have to be on an antibiotic for some reason. It's super important to realize that gut flora is utmost importance. And then the fourth thing that we need to talk about is repairing the lining of the gut wall. By putting in those, and we'll talk about this, the nutrition and the supplements that can actually help repair all the cells in our body, but specifically our gut wall. Oh, sometimes my arrow works and sometimes that doesn't. Okay, so this is the digestive enzyme Terrazyme that doTERRA offers. This right now is a complex of enzymes that help digest your food properly. So the Western diet, unfortunately, it's actually called the SAD diet. The standard Americanized diet has caused so many people to have enzyme deficiencies. So we're eating so many processed foods. We're heating our foods to temperatures that actually kill the good enzymes. Guys, if you take the highest value vegetable that you go buy, let's say you're buying the organic, and you're going to the best food store that you think you can go to buy the best produce, and then you throw it in the microwave, you might just as well just not eaten the vegetable at all. You might get some fiber, but you're actually killing the enzymes by heating your food. Anything over 116 degrees actually renders most enzymes inactive. And so unfortunately, not only are all processed packaged foods definitely cooked above that, but also the way that we're microwaving. So fresh is best. I always tell people that you're actually not what you eat, but you're what you absorb. And so it's really important that all the foods that you eat are being digested, right? We have to absorb them to get the nutrients that we need. So if you want to be able to absorb the food properly, that's really where Terrazyme comes in. This is just a phenomenal complex of different enzymes. And let me explain if you don't know what an enzyme is. So let's say, for example, I eat lactose, right? Lactose is the main ingredient in milk. Well, I have an enzyme in my body, or I'm supposed to have an enzyme in my body called lactase that helps me break down that lactose. So I hope that makes sense. And so if I don't have lactase, then the lactose that I just consumed is not going to be digested properly. And that's actually where a lot of people have milk intolerances that create issues, is that they're just not digesting the lactose properly. And so if you can replace it with a enzyme complex that breaks down your food properly, then it's going to allow proper nutrition. And it's also going to decrease those problems with that acid reflux that a lot of people suffer from. So you can take one with each meal, or you can actually up it to a couple for each meal, depending on how processed the food is that you're actually eating. But what you're going to find is that you're not as bloated after eating. You're improving actually the digestion and the after effects, right? Like how regular you become. You're just going to feel better overall. I just recently worked with a woman who had a lot of acid reflux issues, especially at night at bedtime. After eating, she would go to bed and then it would wake her up. She actually didn't have issues sleeping. She had issues with the acid reflux that caused her to wake up so frequently. She started taking this Terrazyme after dinner, and she said she slept through the night. So this is a really profound benefit that people are missing, and they don't understand the importance. The second thing is probiotics. You need a good probiotic to reestablish good gut health. It's just imperative. If you want to improve your immune system, if you want to improve your digestion, and if you want to improve your gut health, our probiotics with doTERRA are really an interesting um, time release. There's a double layer, a double capsule delivery system. And what that allows, it does have pre and probiotics. But what the double layer allows is that it's going to go through the stomach acid first. The stomach acid is going to break down the outer shell. And then once it hits the small intestines, that's where it will be released. And so you get all of the probiotics that are actually allowed to go into the small intestines instead of being broken down in the gut acid. Okay, so that way you actually get the proper utilization of the bacteria. I just take one of these a day. And then we've already talked about the lifelong vitality. This complex right here, this trio right here, can improve your gut health more than I can probably talk about I'm already over my 15 minutes, but such an amazing, amazing thing that is so vital if you want to improve your health overall. Now, please keep in mind, the Terrazyme, you're going to notice like an immediate benefit. The probiotics, you're probably going to see pretty quickly. The lifelong vitality, though, can actually take a little bit longer to repair all of the cellular damage that has occurred over time. So when we look at how lifelong vitality can improve cellular function, you need to really recognize that not all cells repair and replicate during the same time period. Some cells take 90 days to repair, some cells take 6 months to repair. Because of the rate of how quickly the cell regenerates, you just need to recognize that some of the effects of this cellular repair that we keep talking about can actually take months to occur. Almost immediately, you're going to notice energy improvement. I noticed an elimination of my chronic headaches very quickly, my gut issues resolved over a couple of weeks. But things like my hair, obviously it takes a time to, grow. And now I've just got this mane that's really like impressive. My nail health, my energy, my skin complex. But over a couple of years of taking this lifelong vitality, I'm actually now decreasing my prescription glasses. And so that's what I mean by like, it can take some time depending on how quickly that specific organ regenerates itself. Okay, so that does play a part in how quickly the lifelong vitality can improve your health. All right, so lastly, we're going to talk about essential oils that support your gut, specifically when you have different issues. First and foremost, digestion is probably the easiest thing to remember. This is a complex of all of the digestive essential oils that can help improve health. So if you just don't know what you need best, digestion is probably the first thing that I would start with. But if you look at all of the other ingredients inside of it, each one of these has its own individual benefit of gut health as well. So ginger, peppermint, caraway, coriander, anise, tarragon, and fennel. And so this combination right here, if you just don't know, you can take a drop and it's going to help with so many different issues. Maybe it's the spasming of the colon. Maybe it's the acid production of the stomach. It might be the gas production, and it's going to help decrease it. So if you just don't know, then just get your digestion, take a drop in some water or under your tongue or in a veggie capsule to help improve not only the digestion specifically when you eat, but also just when you have symptoms of bloating, gas, and indigestion. Peppermint is included in the digestion, but by itself, it can have its own benefits more in the upper gut when you're taking it just as an essential oil by itself. It's going to help with the acid production, any kind of bloating or gas sensation. We do have a soft gel enteric coated peppermint that's available. For those people that have issues in the lower gut, that would be something I would actually recommend instead. The enteric coated, again, just like the probiotic, allows the outer shell to break down in the gut acid, and then it's released into the small intestines to get all of that permeability inside the intestines instead. Lemon is also a great essential oil for digestion. Not only is it a natural purifier and detoxifier, but it can really help. This is what I would recommend you taking every morning with a glass of water, just one drop. Stand there, take some big deep breaths, drink your water, kind of do a quick, couple of minute maybe meditation or positive affirmation in the morning. This will start your day out just phenomenally. And if you don't have any problems waking up too many times in the night peeing, maybe do that same routine at night before you go to bed. Okay, really give your kidneys a chance to flush out all the toxins of the day. Ginger in its own individual benefit is just phenomenal. I heavily recommend pregnant mamas to take this during the first trimester with their nausea and issues that they have. You can simply smell it or put it in a tea. It certainly can improve digestion, but also if you have issues when you get in the car and you feel like you're having equilibrium issues, or you're just feeling off balance, ginger can actually help with that as well. So it's really, really great. And it's a good energy booster in the late afternoon. Fennel is also an essential oil by itself that can help with digestion. It's more for kind of keeping things moving, if that helps with the compliance segue, but it can also help with just overall metabolic function, liver function, and circulation, and also diffused can help with lung and respiratory. So tomorrow we're talking about respiratory oils, but very powerful essential oil. And then last but not least is copaiba. Guys, copaiba essential oil is so underutilized, in my opinion, for so many different benefits. But the one thing I want you to remember about copaiba, copaiba interacts with what's called the endocannabinoid system in our body. We have a lot of receptors throughout our body. So copaiba fits in the same family. When we're learning about what copaiba is, I want you to think about THC, CBD, and BCP. BCP is beta caryophyllene, which is copaiba has a high amount of beta caryophyllene, but all three of those, THC found in marijuana, CBD grown without marijuana, and then BCP, beta caryophyllene, can all benefit all of those endocannabinoid receptors. And so when we take copaiba, it actually interacts with both. So, oh my gosh, I'm going over my time, but the THC interacts with the receptors in our brain, right? That's why we feel high when we smoke marijuana. CBD interacts with the endocannabinoid receptors throughout our body, like in our nerves and different nerve fibers that go throughout the body that might become more excitable. But we also have endocannabinoid receptors in our gut. And so when we take copaiba, it can actually benefit our gut health so much. I take copaiba twice a day for that very specific reason, for gut health. This is a phenomenal oil. I hope you all have this in your possession or are interested in getting it. Okay, that's it for today. I went a little bit over. I'm so sorry. If you have any questions, I'm going to turn off the